Hello again. Recently, a few of you enjoyed a poem I read, a Portuguese poem I wrote called As Palavras Peixes. And so I thought I'd read you today one of my stories. This story is from my first book, Stoning the Devil, Skylight Press, 2012. And the story is called UNVEILED, and it's about the spiritual experience, really, a mystical experience that comes completely unbidden to the protagonist, who is an Englishman called Colin, who's married to Fayrouz, who's a Palestinian refugee. Originally grew up in the refugee camps in South Lebanon. So it's a self-contained story, so I don't think I really need to explain anymore. If you're new to the channel, my name's Garry Powell. I'm the author, obviously, of this book, also of Our Parent Who Art in Heaven, and I write the Substack blog Write Dangerously, and this YouTube channel also called Write Dangerously. So here it is, Unveiled. It might be one of those Merchant Ivory movies set in England. The long shot shows the River Ouse sliding soft and unseen as a snake between wavy rows of Victorian brick terraces, while floodlit cathedral spires poke from a marsh of sodium light. Zoom in to empty pavements, elms and maples with bronze leaves rattling in the wind, cars swishing past, and a couple quickly walking. Although young, they aren't touching. The man looks intently at the woman when he speaks, yet when she replies, she doesn't look at him. Shoulders hunched, she hugs a brown fur jacket to her body, her hands curved round a belly big with child. Their breath plumes before their faces. Because they've just been to see a movie about movies, Colin is feeling postmodern, experiencing everything as if he were directing a film in which he and his wife have the main roles. A close-up of Fayrouz, his view, reveals a long straight nose reminiscent of classical statuary, thick eyebrows, a helmet of black hair, and a complexion that looks sallow in the ochreous streetlight. She has the small bow-shaped mouth that was fashionable in the Art Nouveau posters of the Edwardian era. Her beauty is inhuman, he thinks. She's expressionless, like a Greek goddess. They're discussing the movie they've been watching, Woody Allen's The Purple Rose of Cairo. That's not what I'm saying, Colin says with exasperation. He's self-conscious, knows his face is strained, a caricature of intensity. Bob Dylan hair, big mouth. Why don't you listen? Couldn't you look at me once in a while? Quick as a flick knife, her glance grazes him. Her tongue clicks like a camera. You think I'm living in a fantasy world, don't you? He says, like Mia Farrow in the film. Well, aren't you? Her voice is cold and creamy. Isn't everyone in this country? But what is reality? He declaims in a posh British accent, like Jeremy Irons or Ralph Fiennes. Colin hears himself speaking like that, with the deliberate drama and dignity of a Shakespearean actor. What is reality? He repeats. This? As if on cue, a Ford Escort passes, bass and drums thumping, rappers rapping, teenagers bawling and shrieking. A tin can clatters on the road. Instead of answering, Fayrouz sighs irritably, spreading her fingers over her melon-sized swelling. The tap of her boot heels on the pavement creates a tense, metronomic rhythm. His voice presses her relentlessly. Is this reality to you? Can't you imagine something higher? What do you think? I don't think anything. Her accent grates on his nerves. Arabs sound staccato and scornful when they speak English. Colin didn't notice how much he minded that until he married her. They pass a brick wall covered with graffiti in exotic alphabets, and he wonders if they're real or invented. The alphabets first, and then, fleetingly, the rest of the scenery. You must think something, he says. Imagining the figure he cuts, with a touch of vanity, he mentally labels his style shabby chic. Tweed jacket, leather elbows, a college scarf, brogues and corduroys. Distinctly donnish. That's how his old Cambridge friends describe him. But he's pretty sure he's cool too. Is this all there is to life? He asks himself as much as Fayrouz. No answer. Click, 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 swish. Another car, the sodium-soaked street. You think I'm an escapist, don't you? Of course you are. You can't face the boredom, the mediocrity, the ugliness of your existence. She goes on, exasperated. You should try living in Sabra or any of the refugee camps, never having enough food or fresh water or money, knowing the Israelis and the Christian militias killed your father and brother, and there's nothing you can do about it. But you don't want to think about these things. You are only interested in glamour, this stupid Hollywood love. You are a child. Why do you think I married you then? Exactly for this. I was a refugee, a Palestinian. I seemed exotic to you. I was your escape. Maybe, Colin admits, proud of his honesty. But what about you? Why did you marry me? What did you want? What do you want from life? She rolls her eyes, exhales with a hiss through her teeth. I just want to be left alone. After a pause, she adds, I hate this fucking country. Such cold, such unfriendliness. You English think you're so superior. I thought you were different, but you're the same, like all the aid workers. You don't think you're racist, but you are. You probably think you saved me, bringing me here, don't you? Should we have stayed in Lebanon then? She doesn't reply. Am I boring you? He asks. Yes, she says flatly. For once, can't you tell me what you feel? As the camera pulls away, he waves his arms like a conductor's, well aware that he's acting. The woman again. What a drag, always so intense. We can't even see a film and enjoy it. You must analyze everything. How do you expect me to feel, huh? How do you think I felt when I saw your letter? If I didn't see it, you would be gone tomorrow, no? Her hands clutch at her belly as if it's about to burst. I can't look after a baby on my own. You don't understand this? I know, you said that before. He almost manages to sound contrite. I didn't mean for you to see it. I hadn't made up my mind to go yet, honestly. All I ask is that you stay with me 1 year. I'll think about it. Just give me till tomorrow. 1 year, please, then go if you must. Think about me for a change. You must know what it means for an Arab woman to have a baby if she has no husband. As they approach a humpbacked stone bridge, he places his right hand on her shoulder. She shrugs it off. She's right, he realizes. He does only think about himself. An aid worker is like an actor. He needs the limelight. He has to be loved, a hero. That's why he does it, not because his emotions are deeper or nobler than anyone else's. Nevertheless, he feels sorry for her. He really does. He turns towards her again. "Why don't you just leave me alone?" she says. She shudders, either from cold or disgust, while he stops and leans on the parapet of the bridge. She waits stiffly, uninterested. He gazes at the river, which is still and black and viscous as oil, and at a power station on the left bank that hums and crackles. On the right bank, a brick warehouse with a pink neon sign reads Strip 69. Moored to the towpath, a grain barge that's been converted into a Chinese restaurant sheds slivers of yellow light from its lanterns onto the water. Motionless on the unrippled river are two white swans. Till now, Colin has been watching and listening as if he were in a cinema, numbly. But all of a sudden, his other senses come into play. He smells a whiff of petrol, the damp stone of the bridge, the leaves, the grass on the riverbank. He feels the breeze lift his hair. The swans are as luminous as the moon against the black background of the water, and as he observes them, his thoughts are stilled. He is aware without shaping the awareness into words. This is what he has striven for so long, and here it is, uncalled for, a moment of grace. Peace fills him like the warmth of whiskey. He'd like to stay forever, just watching the swans floating. The feathered whiteness of the birds on the flat blackness of the water makes an impression on his mind that will be indelible, he's sure. Everything is ravishingly beautiful. The power station, the barge, the strip club, all of it, not just the swans. Just as artists and mystics have always said. And finally, he can see for himself that it's all connected, meshed together with love. He turns to Fayrouz. She is fidgeting, lips pursed, urging him to hurry, but all his irritation is gone. "Look," he exhorts her, but she doesn't turn her head. "Are you coming or not?" she says. "I'm freezing." "1 second. If you don't come now, I'm walking back on my own." "Please, Fayrouz." He points at the fabulous world that lies unveiled before them, but she ignores him. She marches off, and he tears himself away from the swans to follow her, feeling curiously light and bouncy. He breathes deeply. The traffic fumes don't diminish his delight. He smells the world as a dog does. He sees like an owl. Each rust-coloured brick stands out on the Victorian houses, each blue slate on the roofs, each brassy leaf on the trees. The sodium light no longer disgusts him. It just is. For the first time in ages, he laughs aloud. "What's the matter with you?" Fayrouz asks. Nothing. Look, see how incredibly beautiful everything is. Even the cars. See how they shine and sparkle. She gives him a suspicious glance, and he imagines what she's thinking. Crazy, hysterical. I hate it when he has these moods. Staring at the sky, Stars strike and flash like matches. He feels sparks on his face. He slips on dog shit, which has the amusing smell that it used to have when he was little. We could be happy, he thinks. If I could get her to see this, disclose her feelings, experience joy for once, all our differences could be transcended. It's risky to think about, let alone talk about. He's read enough to know that the words may dispel the vision, but he decides that he must try. And if he succeeds, after this year of short circuits, at last he will have made a connection. He will be able to share adventures with her, live with her, not just survive. If he can find the intimacy he needs, he won't be forced to leave her. Fayrouz, listen to me, I beg you. She walks briskly, unheeding, yawning. He keeps speaking, although he knows it's futile. Shortly, they reach a house with a pointed wooden porch and sash windows, and a stout middle-aged woman answers the door. She wears heavy makeup, rhinestones, and a blouse that reveals too much of her large bust. Her dyed black hair is styled like Jackie Kennedy's in the early 60s. The moment he steps in, he starts gabbling about his life-changing experience on the bridge, but the explanation renders it lame and ordinary. Mother and daughter exchange a glance which says, "He's eccentric. What to do?" In the kitchen, they all drink green Arabic coffee with cardamom and utter polite platitudes about the film. The vision and his elation evaporate like mist. "I will leave tomorrow," he resolves. Cut to a bedroom in the middle of the night, with spectral lighting seeping in from the street. Fayrouz gets up, walks to the wardrobe, stands before the mirror in a black chiffon nightdress. He speaks her name, but she doesn't answer. He turns on the bedside lamp. Her eyes are open, but he knows she's hallucinating. Colin even knows what she sees as she stares at the glass. Her throat slashed, blood bubbling from the wound. It's what she sees every night, ever since the massacre in the camp. The horror will keep her awake for hours. He won't be able to console her. He hasn't saved her, he realizes. She was right about that as well. Cut to lilac light sifting through floral curtains. Fayrouz's face lies on the pillow beside him, a little stupid in sleep, her mouth gaping. Colin hears her breathing, the ticking of a clock, the grumbling of a truck in the street. It's dawn, and he suddenly knows that duty and guilt will prevent him from leaving for many years. When the child is grown, he promises himself, I'll be free then. He feels detached again. Someone, no doubt Fayrouz's mother, is in the kitchen. A kettle hisses, and something spits in a pan, but he can't smell it cooking. He can't smell Fayrouz either, in spite of the perfume she soaks herself with. And when she flings an arm over his chest, it's as if he's been anesthetized. He doesn't feel a thing. He's no longer an actor with Bob Dylan hair, large mouth, and posh accent. He's just a spectator, watching an endless film by Mike Leigh or Ken Loach. Colin knows the style, gritty British realism. But what is reality? He asks himself. This? Well, that's the end of it. I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of the least typical of the stories in the book. All of the other stories take place in the Middle East, but those are the main characters, really, Colin and Fayrouz. And I like to give a book recommendation for every blog I write and every podcast I make. So if I can be forgiven, that's the one I'd recommend. Stoning the Devil. It was shortlisted for a couple of major prizes in 2013, the Edge Hill Short Story Award and what's the other one? The big Irish one. I've forgotten the name of it now. Anyway. I think the collection is more or less forgotten now, but if you're interested in the Middle East, and particularly if you're interested in the role of Westerners, Western expats, and the way they prop up the dictatorships of the Middle East, the way they're complicit, really, in those authoritarian governments in the Gulf. That's one of the themes of the book. The book is also about love, really, and how most people fail to find love because they're too selfish, really. They're too focused on fulfilling their own needs, and they're not sufficiently willing to listen to the other, to understand the other, to feel empathy for the other. Actually, I'll read you a couple of the blurbs on the cover. This is from Naomi Shihab Nye, whose father was Palestinian, actually, and she spent time in the West Bank. Garry Craig Powell has an astonishing ability to create characters with swift and haunting power. His intricately linked stories travel to the dark side of human behavior without losing essential tenderness or desire for meaning and connection. And she also said there is no other book like this one. And George Singleton, the American short story writer, said these linked stories are utterly mesmerizing and exotic, with a keen ear for dialogue and a sensibility of the best Conrad, Kipling, Orwell and Achebe. Garry Craig Powell has pulled off a masterful feat. So forgive the self-promotion there. And I will say goodbye to you until next week, my fellow free spirits, over men, over women, dangerous writers and readers. Bye-bye.